Welcome to the CALF project, an international prospective evaluation of the epidemiology, clinical monitoring, and rehabilitation after calf muscle strain injuries. My name is Brady Green, and together with the research team, we've put together this short presentation as an introduction to the project. Specifically, we'll cover off on a little bit of background and history that has led the project to get to this point, and we'll also discuss and describe some of the key outcomes that we hope to generate from this world first study. Again, welcome. It's great to have you involved, and we really look forward to working with you within the CALF space. The rationale for the CALF project is unfortunately really clear when we acknowledge the significant and persistent impact of both index and recurrent calf strains among elite sports. And within recent epidemiological studies, we see the significance of that impact within soccer, Australian rules football, American football, rugby, and British athletics, among others. Despite the challenges that we all face within the calf space, there's very little data available that's published and available to guide what we do. For example, within our systematic review of risk factors for calf muscle strain injuries, we were only able to include more than 7 times fewer studies and more than 7,500 fewer injuries compared to the available evidence for hamstring muscle injury risk factors. So a key thing from this project is to provide a robust data set that's practical in nature, that can help better guide and also understand management and prevention of calf muscle strain injuries. So what is the CALF project specifically? It's a world first international prospective evaluation of the epidemiology, clinical monitoring, and rehabilitation after calf muscle strain injuries. Now, the clinical interpretation of that statement is that we aim to generate practical insights and recommendations to optimize our management and prevention of both index and recurrent calf strain injuries for practitioners, and particularly those working within elite sports. We're really lucky to have a global team of clinician researchers involved within this project from various perspectives, and they'll specifically provide their knowledge, expertise, and experiences to ensure information that we feed back to involved clinicians and practitioners is robust and really practically useful. Now, importantly, the current version of the project is a result of a really successful pilot that was led by Evan Jean Guillot from Aspetar a few years ago. And we've certainly leveraged experiences from that pilot for the current version of the project. And importantly, the current version is now ethically approved and able to follow the formal avenues to publication and dissemination of research data. So how have we progressed the project and developed its methods to get to its current position? Critically, our methods have been developed from some longer term and large scale muscle injury prevention projects from the Soft Tissue Injury Registry of the AFL, as well as Aspetar Orthopaedic and Sports Medicine Hospital, which have each generated outcomes on an international scale and led to numerous publications in key sports medicine journals. Please let us know as well if you'd like access to any of these prior works. So we've taken key learnings and parts of the methods from these projects combined with Evan's successful piloting. And we've also sourced feedback from key stakeholders involved in the project to update the data, what we're collecting and how we're collecting it. So from these perspectives, we've been as robust as we can to build a practically useful project that's well designed scientifically as well. We were also successful in gaining prospective project support from professional teams and peak sporting organisations globally, which was also key in a successful grant application within the PVCR Strategic Initiatives Big Ideas Grant Scheme at the University of Notre Dame, Australia, which has been extremely helpful for setting up a lot of the infrastructure that you'll utilise within the project. And so from these steps, we're really excited to have a world first study that's strongly positioned in the information that can be fed back to practitioners. And importantly, as well as being international, we have elite level or elite standard of competition, multi-sport, the study design's prospective in nature, And we also have athletes participating from both women's and men's competitions as well. Lastly, outcomes, or what do we hope to generate from the CALF project? The innovation and scope of the CALF project strongly position it to better inform and guide our clinical practices in both management and prevention. Specifically, being an international scale prospective study, we'll be working towards generating a large, high quality data set that, as mentioned, is on a scale that we all require to provide the best information about epidemiology, rehabilitation, and recurrent susceptibility, and certainly at a level that isn't possible if we're just working within our silos, say a single team or sporting organisation, or even that isn't possible if we're within a national network or a national sporting organisation based on strength in numbers. And so by compiling data from around the world, we should also be able to answer key research questions in a more timely fashion compared to if we were just collecting data alone, as mentioned, in single locations or within single networks. That would certainly take much more time simply from a numbers perspective to get a better indication about key research questions. Now, tied in within that is this improved understanding of rehab trajectory, milestones, and recurrence susceptibility, where from data that's submitted, we'll feed back and also publish new understanding regarding what constitutes perhaps good versus poor versus average rehabilitation trajectory, and meeting specific milestones, and perhaps when is normal versus abnormal to be meeting those milestones, and how each of those factors tie in with return to play and return to full training prognosis, as well as recurrence susceptibility. And are there particular rates of milestone achievement or non-achievement that better inform situations where we may need to be more conservative with our prognosis for return to full training, or that actually could flag cases of recurrence susceptibility. Now, layered within that as well are key clinical monitoring tools that are routinely done within clinical practice. And while these are routinely done, we actually have very little information about their utility in terms of predicting prognosis for recovery and also re-injury. And so within this large data set, we should be strongly positioned to be able to feedback and identify the tools that are actually key in each of these areas, recovery and re-injury, and perhaps those that are less useful, similar to some of the work that's been published in the hamstring space from the Aspetar group. Now, a really, really important area of this project in terms of outcomes is the knowledge transfer and the potential that we have to disseminate information within our international network that's data informed and also helps to guide current best practice. So part of involvement within the project will be structured knowledge transfer and dissemination using various formats, I should say, such as education sessions and such as online platforms that provide up-to-date information where possible about what's occurring in the calf space, what is perhaps going to help guide best practice and provide the most value clinically within your own practices. So in summary, thank you for tuning into this introduction presentation. And in the following presentation, you'll get some really good insight from Evan regarding the practicalities of data submission, clinical monitoring tools, and so forth. So thank you again. Welcome to the CALF project, and we really look forward to working with you in the CALF space. Cheers.